episodes of Shadowhunters have premiered, and I am really excited to talk about them. I've been containing myself for like 2 weeks, like 2 weeks on this, and I'm so excited to finally be able to talk about it. I finally have time to, and I have so many things I want to say. So first off, I think the most amazing thing is that it's here. Like, they casted this in May. I remember sitting there with my laptop in Spanish class, because every single time they released a cast member, I was in Spanish class. And I just remember freaking out, and my whole class would be like, what the fuck is this girl doing? But, I mean, the casting is so great, and seeing them go through all the stuff on social media, which they were so great about keeping the fans informed about what was happening on social media. And then New York Comic Con was so amazing, and then, like, now we're here. Like, the show is here. They did this all under a year, which is amazing. I think that shows their dedication to the show and to the fan base, that they just wanted to get it out as soon as possible, and I think that that's just awesome, and I just thank you to them for being able to put it together. I'm excited. I'm wearing, like, my Shadowhunter shirt that I got for City of Bones, like, 2 years ago, which, like, Hot Topic shirts apparently can't go in the dryer, which I didn't know, so now it's, like, way too small on the sleeves, but I don't even care. Like, Shadowhunters. Today we're going to be talking about the pilot, the Mortal Cup, and episode 2, This Descent into Hell Isn't Easy. And I would just like to point out, number one, that I love how each of the episode titles, because they've released all of them so far, you can actually find them. I'll link the Tumblr if I can find it. I'll link something down below that tells you what all the episodes are. Now, some of them, like, they're not exactly from the book, but they're all little plays on things that are in the book, and I really like that. I think that that's really cute, and I think that's a nice nod to the books. First thing I want to talk about, because this will span for both the pilot, before I start getting into, like, plot details of the pilot and the second episode, I really just want to talk about the characters. I think Alberto Rosande is literally Simon. Every time he opens his mouth, I'm just like, yes, that's a Simon line. He delivers all his lines perfectly. He even delivers the stupid lines well. Like, your fake ID sucks could have been such a bad line, but Alberto delivered it in a way that made me believe that it was something that Simon would say, and I just think that that's awesome. The whole, like, exchange in the abandoned church about, what are you doing in an abandoned church with no pants on? Is there a meth problem that we need to talk about? And then Jace comes out and he's like, is this your meth dealer? I think that's really funny. Him and Kat have really great chemistry. Kat actually talked about how they got their chemistry together. They sat down with that first scene and ran through it a couple times, and then just ended up talking for a really long time and getting to know each other. And them talking about how they found that chemistry sounds like it was a really organic process. And their chemistry feels really real. I feel like they're best friends. I love when she jumps on his back, and I love their stupid, like, fist bump thing. I also love Alberto, how he interacts with Jocelyn and Luke, because it definitely feels like he's someone who they know really well and is kind of basically like a pseudo family member, and I think that that's awesome. Alberto is killing it. Another person who is totally killing it and, like, making the show for me is Alan Van Sprang. Like, completely is Valentine. Like, he captures that evil charisma that Valentine has, because I always imagined Valentine as being super classy and super charismatic, but at the same time, like, you're charmed by him, but then in the back of your mind you're thinking, but this guy's also a psychopath. Like, he's insane. And I think he's doing a really good job of that, and I really like that, and I really believe that he loves Jocelyn in his twisted, creepy way, and I love seeing him just, like, kill all his stupid minions because they're stupid. He's like, I don't have time for you. And I just think he's doing a really good job. I completely believe him as Valentine. He's really scary. Like, for a show that is on a channel that used to be ABC Family, like, he's pretty dark. And I love that he's in Chernobyl. Like, everyone hates that he's in Chernobyl, and I'm like, no, I love it. I think it's awesome. Like, that's totally where he would be, because he wants to be close by, but he also has to have something creepy going on. Like, so Chernobyl is perfect for him. Oh my god, I love it. I love everything about the Valentine thing, and I love that they introduced him sooner, so we can actually put a face to him, and we can actually be afraid of him, versus him being just, like, this idea that we have no idea what's really going on, but, like, he's really scary. I really dig that. I love the Lightwood siblings. They're fantastic. I think Matthew Daddario's Alec is great, and Emerald is literally Izzy in every sense of the word, especially because I actually found out that in the show, Izzy doesn't know about her parents' affair, so that kind of explains why she's a little bit more happy-go-lucky and not as brooding. which a lot of people were very confused about, and I was at first, but then I found out that it's because she doesn't know about her father's affair. So I think that it's really well explained, because when you hear about them talking about Izzy before she found out about her father's affair, it does seem very similar to how Emerald is playing her. Also, I really love Emerald, and everybody out there who's saying, like, she dresses too sexy, like, why are they dressing her too sexy? Like, so sexy, having her, like, be so revealing. They're like, how is that empowering? And I think that it totally is, because I think sluts often get put down, and there's a lot of slut shaming, and then having a girl who could be categorized as a slut, but also going out there and kicking ass and caring about her family, and just being a generally, like, awesome person, but also having her have some qualities that would make her a slut. I I really like that. I like that a lot. I mean, Cassandra Clare even came out and said like, Izzy wouldn't be that sexy, and I kind of always imagined her as kind of being, like the classic slutty look, but then like being awesome and breaking every stereotype of sluts, and I think that that's awesome. Also, people have complained that Matthew Daddario doesn't have enough emotion. I think Alec in the first book definitely was just like super broody and didn't really seem to like care about anything. He was just really angry and internalized all his emotions and like tried to be like funny and sassy. Like when he would speak and stuff, he was kind of had a little bit of sass to him, but it just wasn't delivered in the right way. So you're like, what's wrong with this guy? That's kind of how I always saw it, and I think he's doing a really good job. He's had some really funny lines, like the "I can't be here" is really funny, and I think the Lightwood siblings have had some really, they've had some really great banter. Like the "It's Platinum" thing was great. I really like them, and I can't wait to see more of them because I think they're only gonna grow into their roles. I really don't know how I feel about Jace and Clary at this point. They have been given some really shitty lines. Like, the shittiest lines in the show, I think, have been delivered by Jace and Clary. And I definitely don't think that it's Dom and Kat's fault that they have had such terrible lines. Like, the lines that they've given Kat make Clary feel like a really bad OC in fanfiction, which is such a shame. Like, there's some moments where I really do connect with Clary, like the scene where she comes back into her house and finds that her mother has been taken. I really felt for her there. I also felt for her when she was, hyping herself up to go into the City of Bones and stuff like that. Like, I felt that. But there's just some other moments where I just, oh, don't believe it. She's just had some really bad lines, and Jace has had some really awful lines, like the "you have the sight," which everyone keeps talking about. Like, it's so bad, because he sits there and he's just like, "you have the sight," and it makes no sense. And he's had some other just really bad lines, and I just, ugh. And I also think that that's hindering their chemistry, because they, like, had them holding hands so soon, and their lines also make it seem like Jace is already kind of, like, into Clary, when in the book, she was more of a burden to him. And the thing is that it's not Dom's fault that he's not acting like she's a burden, because that's not what's written for him. I think, given what they've been given, they've been doing a good job, because there's been glimpses where I really believe them, like when the lines are, actually good. Like in the City of Bones, where Jace is like, looking better in black than the orders of our enemies, which that line got cut off, which I literally sat there, finished the line, and my mom was like, what? And then I realized that he hadn't finished the line with me, and I was like, oh, awkward. But like that line, I really felt that he was Jace, and there have been a couple Clary lines that I thought were pretty good too. They're growing on me. Like, definitely like them more in the second episode than the first episode. Don't really know that much about Magnus yet. Don't know how I feel about him. Luke is pretty cool. I like what they've done with his character. A lot of people are like, he's not even Luke anymore. And I'm like, you watching the show? He's like the same guy. He just has a different occupation. I don't really know what people are seeing. I think Isaiah Mustafa, I can't say his last name. I think he's doing a really good job. I like him, and I really believe that he loves Jocelyn and Clary a lot, and that's good. I think the relationships are really good. Other than Jace and Clary, everybody else seems to be going in the kind of direction that they should be. Like Simon and Izzy kind of being the flirty type thing, because Izzy's just like playing with him because it's fun, And Simon, like, as we know from the books, is really just doing this to make Clary jealous. But also because, you know, Isabel's, like, hot as shit. Because, like, same. So now that I've talked about all the characters, I kind of want to talk about some other things. They were trying to hit all these plot points in the Mortal Cup, in the pilot. They really were just going, like, we have to hit this point, we have to hit this point, we have to hit this point, we have to hit this. Boom, 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 boom. And it kind of reminded me how in Vampire Academy, in the movie, they hit every single plot point, but you didn't get the emotion from it, so it didn't feel like Vampire Academy. I kind of feel the same way from that. They hit all the plot points that I wanted them to hit, and, like, it followed the story, and I was like, well, okay, but then at the same time, I didn't get the same emotional reaction from it. Then again, you have to remember, it happened in an hour, and it wasn't even a true hour. It's like 40 minutes that they had to deliver all that to me, and I mean, I didn't hate it. It wasn't the greatest pilot I've ever seen, but then if you look at the 100 pilot compared to, like, the rest of the show, like, the 100 pilot sucks. It's terrible. Like, I remember watching it and being like, I like this concept, but this is, like, not a good episode. And then by, like, episode 5, I was so invested in what was happening that, like, totally forgot that the pilot even existed. And I'm kind of feeling like Shadowhunters is going to take that same direction, because the dialogue is just as cheesy, the special effects are just as meh, the acting is just as meh. Everything's kind of just half-baked at this point. It definitely wasn't bad. It was enjoyable for me to get to see all my characters come to life. There were a lot of moments, especially, as I said, for the Lightwoods and for Simon and Valentine and all that, that I definitely felt like I was watching my favorite characters. As I said, Jason, Clary are hit or miss at this point. But didn't hate the Mortal Cup. I like that they've added a couple things, like Dot, who's supposed to be Dorothea. No idea. Kind of blanking on how they said it in the show. I actually really like her character. She kind of gets killed off pretty quickly, but it was a nice little side plot to give Clary someone else that she cares about instead of making her seem like a complete, like, loner, which they could have very easily done. I like that they gave her, you know, someone else that she can care about. I think that was kind of neat. I really don't hate it, because Dorothea in the book kind of just, like, didn't really serve a purpose other than giving them the tarot cards, and the tarot cards are with Luke, so they really don't need Dorothea. One thing that I've seen a lot of people complain about is the whole human blood being taken from the demons thing and the demonic murders. They're like, it wasn't in the books, why is it here, why do they need this? And I think they're just trying to make it longer. Honestly, if you can cram that whole big giant book into a 2.5-hour movie, which you can hit all the plot points and have everyone be decently satisfied. Like, I definitely enjoyed the movie. Wasn't the greatest thing ever, but if they had continued the series in that way, I would not be complaining. I would still be going dressed like this to every premiere. So I think they're just trying to add things to draw the show out a little bit more and to give them a little bit more character development in a different way. Because I haven't read the books in a really long time, but I feel like there were certain things that were drawn out and there were a lot of points that were slow, and they're just trying to keep everything moving and keep people interested. I don't think it's going to be a giant major plot point that'll affect the rest of the series, maybe this season, but definitely not the rest of the show, and I don't think it's that big of a deal because they have the main plot going. Clary is trying to find her mom, to find out where the Mortal Cup is, to keep it from Valentine. Like, that's happening. So I really have no problem with the demonic murders. I think it's interesting. It's something different, and I wanted something a little bit different, so not complaining. I really liked Pandemonium. I thought it looked really cool. A lot of the sets were really cool. Like, I liked Pandemonium. I liked the Institute. Everyone's out here, like, crying, like, foul because the Institute has technology. Which, like, yes, in the books that was a huge point of it, but I don't necessarily think that they can't explain how the Shadowhunters technology is different from human technology. One thing that I'm not so sure if I'm 100% okay with, but I understand why they did it, is they revealed that Valentine is Clary's father, like, at the end of the second episode, which seems really early to me since that happened at the end of the book, but I understand why they did it, because I was watching a bunch of other people give reviews of this, and they were all like, I don't understand, like, it's all supposed to happen all at once, blah, 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 like, you find out that it's Clary's father, and he's also Jace's father, and it happens so fast, and blah, 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 and I think that that's why they did it, because it does happen so fast in the books. Like, you find out he's Clary's father, then you find out he's Jace's father, and you really don't have time to, like, comprehend that. And I think what they want you to do is, because we've already put a face to Valentine, they want you to now be like, this is Clary's father. And they're going to give us, like, a little bit more of that story and how, like, Jocelyn got involved with Valentine, probably. Type of stuff, and get us very comfortable with the idea that, Clary is Valentine's father. All the same time, we're learning little bits and pieces about Jace's father's, past. So that way, when Valentine shows up and, like, Jace is like, oh shit, like, that's my dad, at the same time where Clary's like, I'm meeting my father for the first time, like, blah, 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 and then Jace sees him and is like, that's my dad. Like, there's kind of, like, this mass confusion in that sense, but it's not as confusing. I think they did it so the non-book audience gets more of a gasp out of it. Like, they aren't, like, confused, like, wait, what's happening? Like, how can he be both their fathers? Like, they understand more clearly what it means. I just think it's less confusing for the non-book audience to have us already know that Valentine is Clary's father, and then have the big reveal at the end of the season be that it's also Jace's father. Like, surprise! I think I understand why they did that. Do I necessarily like it? I don't know, but I understand why they did it, and it doesn't really change the plot, so I really don't care that much. It makes me a little mad, because I'm just like, it wasn't how it happened in the book, but at the same time, like, I understand why they did it, and I think it makes sense. So, I'm cool with that. I also am cool with Simon getting taken a different way, like, not having him be turned into a rat. Like, I mean, it's a cute scene where he drinks the stuff to get Izzy's attention, and then he turns into a rat and gets kidnapped, but he was still trying to impress Izzy, and he still ended up getting kidnapped and is now with the vampires. I'm a little concerned that they're gonna make him a vampire, like, right away, because, why would you do that? Or maybe, do they know right away that he's a vampire, or does it take them a while to realize? The thing is that I think it's gonna get better and better and better. The things I'm looking to improve are the script, because the script is some shit right now, especially, Jason Clary's lines. Those are just awful, and there have just been some other cheesy moments and jokes that just didn't hit. I hope the acting gets a little bit better, because I think, like, even though it's good right now, and I definitely feel like they're their characters, they can settle into it and be a little bit more comfortable. Special effects, we haven't seen too much of it. I'm not a big fan of the glowy gold stuff, but, like, I understand how expensive special effects are, and how for a first-time show, like, how hard that can be. Like, if you look at Chuck on its first season, like, the intersect was, ooh, that was some great special effects, guys. So I know that that can get better, and I'm really just looking forward to seeing what they're doing with the plot. There's other things that I'm, like, looking forward to. I'm looking forward to more Magnus. Like, I can't wait to actually see him and Alec meet for the first time, because I think my little, like, fangirl heart is going to explode into, like, 5,000 pieces, and I might actually die. I'm excited to find out how they get the Mortal Cup. Ooh, ooh. I'm excited to see Clary get more comfortable with who she is. I'm excited to see how they're going to do at the end that she can draw her own runes. I think that's going to be super duper fun. I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do with Hodge, because, like, Hodge has, like, A, he's hot, B, he has, like, a giant, like, donut or, like, spaghetti-o on his neck. I don't even want to talk about that scene, because I don't really know how I feel about that. I'm excited to see the rest of the Lightwoods, because I know in episode 5, Robert and Mars and Max come back, and as much as I'm going to cry when Max dies, I'm really excited to see Max and see his interactions with his brothers and sisters, and to build that relationship so that way when he dies it's completely heartbreaking and everyone cries for, like, a really, really, really long time, because it's so terrible, because we know how close they are. I forget a lot of things from the book, so I don't even know what I'm looking forward to seeing. So those are my thoughts. They're kind of all over the place, but I did like it. I'm enjoying it a lot. I did enjoy the show. Keep watching it. Let's start a discussion in the comment section. I know that this review was like literally all over the place, but did enjoy it. I want to hear your thoughts on it too. What didn't you like? What did you like? What are you looking forward to this season? And I will hopefully be doing a little talk like this either every episode or every 2 episodes, maybe every 3 episodes. I will want to be talking about every episode. Definitely near the end of the season, like the last 5, I will be doing one for every single episode. Just because there are a lot of feelings, and maybe I will bring in a friend for the last episode because, oh my god, I have a feeling it's going to be really good. And yeah, so like, comment, and subscribe, do all those fun things, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!